Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me for the Aquarius February Horoscope. Well, a few things happening this month. We have Mercury going direct on the 3rd of the month. There's a little thing called the shadow period a few days after that, where the energy just doesn't go bang direct. It comes on very gradually. It's in your 12th house, which is all about the house of, it's about your unconscious, the house of the goddess, I call it. It's a very experiential place. A lot goes on down there. It's hard to sort of describe, but you can experience the deepness and the feelings that go with that. So with Mercury down there, it's all about messages from your subconscious, picking them up. And when it's retrograde up until the 3rd, it might be a little bit difficult to understand what your dreams are telling you, or perhaps the messages that that you're getting. You think there's something going on, but it's hard to decipher. But things come clearer gradually after the 3rd. The other thing that's happening is January was a long month, February is a short month, and so in January for many countries there were 2 new moons on the 31st. The second one, or the black moon, occurred, which means for those countries or those areas in Western Canada, US, Mexico and South America, then if they've had their new moon on the 31st, they won't have one in February. But in other countries, or in Eastern Canada, US, Mexico or South America, UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, we have our new moon on the 1st of the month. Okay, I'll just briefly explain what I do. There's 2 tarot cards that I like to draw. They're theme cards for the month basically, and then we'll have a look at your horoscope in depth, and then I'll do a psychic channeling at the end, so stick around for that. And if you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, let's go to the main board and see what these cards have to say. I've already pre-shuffled them. So the first card, the first half of the month, let's see what we get. I'm going to go with that one under there. Okay, closing my eyes. What do I see for Aquarius in February 2022? Okay, I get the colour white, which doesn't come through very often actually. Purity, innocence, spirituality. These things are going to become more important to you this month. It's like there's all these white veils that are hanging down. I feel this is to do with your third eye. So the veils are going to be lifted from your eyes, so to speak. You're going to see a new reality that you may have felt existed, but you didn't see it so clearly before. So something new is happening with regard to your spirituality. Okay, this is very interesting because this is the 8 of Swords. And this suggests that you've been restricted in some way, and it can be quite a painful sort of circumstance. And now, given what I've just seen, I think you're going to become aware of it. Somebody's had authority over you in some way, whether that be your government, the church, your own thinking, okay? Ideas, things that you thought of, that you thought were right, and they were restricting you in some way, and you're going to find that the veils are going to fall from your eyes and you're going to see the truth this month. So even though this card, normally you sort of get a fright, or you feel uncomfortable when you see this card, it's often that we have to become aware of it so we can fix the situation, and that's what's happening here. So this is really good news for you, because when this veil, this blindfold falls off, it's like a whole new world. The truth is finally there at your doorstep, and you can see. All right, let's have a look. The second half of the month for February for you. And also, I'm just getting to, I can't move on till I say, this is also about the programming you received growing up, and the conditioning and the socialization in your own country. So regardless of what country you live in, even Australia here, we like to think we're free. And we are comparatively free compared to many countries. Or even our socialisation, programming, conditioning of the country that we live in very much affects us. So we're going to see that more clearly, regardless of the country that you live in. Okay, second card now. Let's have a look and see what comes up. All right. I want that one there underneath. All right, closing my eyes now. What do I see? The sword is being pulled out of the scabbard. This means that you're getting ready to cut something off. Cut some aspect out of your life. Change your thinking. Maybe you're just making a decision not to think negative thoughts or something like that, but something that you had an attachment with is going to be cut from your life. The card that comes up is the Page of Pentacles. Pentacles are about your security, the things that you value, your possessions, your money, okay? Pages are about news, and because I'm optimistic, I always think it's good news. So maybe you're going to cut something off that interferes with your money supply or your possessions, or you'll come to a fresh decision and let go of some limiting beliefs that you had in the past about your finances. There's action to be taken here. See this red? She's dressed in black because she doesn't have the full detail, or she doesn't have all of the knowledge that she would like, but she's also got a white collar here, so she does have some knowledge of what she needs to do, but action will be taken this month. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Now what I'm going to do now is make the board much bigger so you can see it. We'll go like that, and then these cards I'll put like this because we'll probably refer to them at some point during the reading. Now you'll see a lot of the planets here are on the eastern side of the zodiac wheel, or the horizon if you like. This gives you more independence and less reliance on other people, so you'll be relying on yourself. Mercury here in your 12th house alongside Venus and Pluto too will be retrograde to the 3rd, and I've already talked about that. The new moon will be here in your sign. I'll talk about that in a moment. Your co-rulers Saturn and Uranus continue on, and Saturn basically sits in each house for about 2.5 years. It's about halfway through. Uranus sits in each house for roughly 7 years, and it's a third of the way through, so it's probably got another 4 or 5 years to go. But this is about your identity. Your Saturn here has been restricting you in some way from being who you truly are, perhaps. And it's like you've got to go through the hard yards, and gradually, little by little, then you're going to become more free about your belief system. So it's like this sort of gives you like a conservative leaning, perhaps, and that's not going to be there forever. It's probably only going to be there another year or so, and then you're going to be free of that conservatism. Then we have Uranus here causing really strange things to go on with your home and family, and it's roughly, so 7 years, it's a third of the way through 7, so it's probably got another 4 years to go around about. And it could be, sometimes it could be shocking things, but other times it could be really positive things. So you could even win money, or win something, furniture or something to beautify your home, or something happens with your children. It's not always negative. Sometimes it's like a bolt out of the blue that's completely unexpected, like winning a lottery or something like that. So there is a bit happening there. Now I'll look at your horoscope now in depth. So the 31st or the 1st of February, depending on your location, a new moon in your sign. This is likely to make you more perceptive and sensitive than usual, and you could be more easily affected by what's going on in your environment environment. So if you go out, because you are more sensitive, you want to be careful, who you associate with, for example. That's really important, because you can pick up the emotional currents of other people, the people around you. So during this time, it's, probably a good idea to be at home in a very comfortable, supportive atmosphere, rather than, being out and about too much. 30th of January to the 8th of February, Mercury retrograde conjuncts Mercury. You're alert, mentally sharp and clear, particularly after the 3rd of the month. You can comprehend new concepts more easily. You can articulate your ideas more easily. You're likely to have a high intellectual curiosity. You really want to know what makes what tick. It's a good time to make plans and strategies, or perhaps begin a new course of study. 1st of February to the 4th of February, Mars sextiles Jupiter. This is fabulous because doors open to you and new opportunities for personal and professional growth are likely to present now. Any initiative or action that you take is likely to be successful. Partnerships or joining in with other people for mutual benefit is favoured. You're likely to have a high degree of energy, and it's a great time for sports, especially team sports. 4th of February to the 7th, Mars squares Chiron. Just be careful here because you could be a bit impatient or frustrated with Mars there, and there could be some intense feelings brewing underneath the surface, especially with all of this going on here in the 12th house, you're unconscious. So there's turbulent waves going on there, so any little thing could set you off perhaps. So go for a walk in the morning. That'll take the edge off the energy, and you're more likely to be able to deal with anything that comes up then. It is a time, things will come up, and it is a time to try and forgive others, but most importantly, forgive yourself, okay? It's time to heal old wounds. The 7th to the 10th, Mars conjuncts Venus. This is great if you're looking for a new relationship, or you're in a new relationship, because it brings strong sexual feelings and romantic passion. But if you're not in a relationship currently, you're likely to be quite bold and go out there and look for someone that you're attracted to. If you're not interested in that, artistic or creative endeavours are likely to be quite successful now. 9th to the 12th of February, Mercury conjuncts Pluto, and during this time, it's like you're not going to be satisfied with just glib or superficial answers, because you want to get right to the core of the matter. And so mysteries, unsolved riddles, and topics that people normally avoid or sweep under the carpet, these might be on your mind. When you're talking, just be careful you're not overly insistent about your point of view, because it could turn people off to your idea. 13th of February to the 9th of March, Mercury moves into your first house here. I should have put a little arrow, but I didn't. So it's moving from the 12th into your sign, and you're likely to speak out and let your voice be heard on matters. You may have been considering or mulling over something for a while, and finally you're going to, let it out. You're likely to be more keen and alert and express yourself well. It's an excellent time to initiate discussions and communications, and don't forget to listen to people as well, because you'll have a lot of energy for speaking, but energy for listening is super important too. 12th of February to the 20th of February, Jupiter sextiles Uranus. I love this influence because it's super positive. Life is very upbeat and progressive. You may enjoy jovial, spirited get-togethers or parties. You feel more optimistic and enthusiastic. If you're doing any business, you'll find that is likely to go quite well. It's a time of progressive change. The only possible problem is sometimes people don't like change, whether that be you or another person, but change is going to happen anyway. So those people won't like it because they want to hang on to the status quo, but that's not possible. So you become more interested in transformation and change, and you take an active interest in new ideas and perhaps even inventions. And you could also participate in a social change group, which gathers considerable interest from the public. The 16th of February sees a full moon in your 8th house here. So this brings up concerns or possible issues about joint finances or assets, maybe property, and anything that any material sort of thing that you may have an emotional attachment to. Your emotions are likely to be more intense than usual. Just watch you don't overreact to some encounter. But you may have new ideas about what to do with financial improvements, or perhaps intimacy between you and another person is the topic on your agenda. 8th of February to the 25th of February, Saturn conjuncts the Moon. Okay, so this is a bit difficult, especially with, again, all of this going on here in the house of the subconscious. And with that, there could be some self-doubt or criticism. Now think about how restricting self-doubt and criticism actually are. You may also feel isolated or alienated, cut off from your friends or family in some way. And even if they're there, you may feel that they don't really understand you, or, they're not on the same page as you. And so what's happening here is this is making you aware that it is time to cut from your old habits and attachments. You need some time to be alone now. So a great idea is to go for long walks, have some quiet times at home. It's good for introspection and reflection. Okay, look at your dreams, those little flashes you might get in the daytime, if you're paying attention. Because often we get distracted with things and go on with what we're doing and don't really pay attention to those little flashes we get. Try and maintain a sense of humour. This isn't, a particularly long time, it's only a few weeks. Try and identify the patterns that no longer serve you well and begin developing new habits. If you feel guilty or inadequate, try to formulate in your mind exactly what these patterns are, and strive to forgive yourself, especially for the mistakes you've made in the past. We all make mistakes, and that's okay as long as we learn from them. It's really super important because mistakes they give rise to emotion. Emotion is the fuel that you need to keep going on something. But it is a time to start afresh. 13th of February to the 22nd of February, Jupiter sextiles Venus. This can be an excellent time for relationships and friendships, even if it's not people that you've known for a long time. You may meet new people and you can share your concerns openly and honestly with them. And it's also, a time where if there's anyone you feel uncomfortable with, or where there's been some sort of issue, there can be a healing now, and things can be resolved. So it really is a really good time. Any business dealings or professional associations are also benefited now, and any contracts that you sign are likely to work out quite successfully. The 17th to the 20th sees the Sun move into your second house here, putting the focus on your finances and your possessions. And if you've been generous, you'll probably be more generous with your money now than what you were before. If you don't have much money, at least now you'll work out what the next step should be. There's a light at the end of the tunnel that you can follow. 17th to the 20th, Mars sextiles your MC. This is great because you can work energetically towards whatever project or whatever objective you've got in your mind. If you are working, you're likely to advance your professional goals. Some people might ask you to be a leader on some point to do with work, or maybe in a group. People in authority respond favourably to your confidence and willingness to attack a problem or solve an issue in a new way. The 18th of February to the 21st, Venus sextiles your MC, so other people will come along and they will help you in your career or your general life direction. Authority figures may come across your path and you get to know them on a personal, friendly basis. Take advantage of all opportunities to socialise with people you have professional ties with, because the outcome is likely to be quite positive. 21st of February to the 24th, Venus sextiles Neptune. This is great because you're more likely to be receptive to beauty, harmony and kindness. You feel gentle and tender towards other people, and if you help them out, you'll feel quite happy, and they'll likely reciprocate in time. 28th February to the 2nd of March, Sun sextiles Uranus. So this is something that is unpredictable but probably favourable, because you'll act on your own impulse and listen to your intuition, and it results in a change in your routine, but it's probably a positive change. The tempo of your life accelerates, so you lose track of time, so watch your time management. So it's a rather inconsistent, unpredictable, but interesting time. 28th of February to the 3rd of March, Mars conjuncts Pluto. This is a time when you undertake an overhaul in some area of your life. Make sure that you're not overly forceful with yourself. Don't push yourself too hard, especially if you're working, because you may act compulsively to get something done, and you may not necessarily be completely aware of what you're doing. Do watch for power struggles as well. 21st of February to the 11th of March, Saturn sextiles Uranus. Okay, so you're coming to like a crossroads here where you've got to make a decision about your life direction, or perhaps your job if you're working. It's really important that you're doing what your heart wants you to do, and that you've got some sort of fulfillment in your work. If you haven't, then you may change jobs during this time, or at least make the decision to change jobs. So this is about investigating alternatives, because you could be feeling quite frustrated and impatient with your current progress, doing what you're doing at the moment. Power struggles with other people are possible, and take care of the things that really need attention. This is a time when there's high stress levels, so if something isn't very important, I wouldn't worry about it. Take care of the big stones, the big rocks in your life, and then the smaller ones will fit in where they fit in, basically. But you may have an opportunity, something may come up where that you've become aware of an alternative route to reaching your goals, and you could form an alliance with an older or more experienced person who can help you. Do be careful in work-related relationships, because there is a bit of a combination here happening of good and bad developments that can seriously affect the course of your career. Avoid associations with people who try to dominate or restrict you, okay? And the last one I want to talk about is 23rd of February to the 31st of March, Chiron squares Venus. And it's the same sort of, a similar theme, although it's more in a relationship, but it could also be your work. And it's like you come to this crossroads and you've got to make a decision about what you're going to do, because if it is a person, it's like you're no longer on the same page anymore. And if it's your job, you're not in alignment. The values of the company or the values of whoever you're working with, they're not in alignment with your values, perhaps. So, a decision has to be made, and it's not an easy decision. The other thing with this is you may be less social than you normally are, and you may not receive as many social invites. I don't know that that's a big problem though, because always it's good to have time alone, okay? There might be constructive criticism around some creative project or something to do with your finances as well. Try not to take it to heart. All right, so that's your horoscope. Now, what's going to happen, I'll just close my eyes and see what I can see for you, Aquarius, for the month of February 2022. Okay, I'm in a room and I'm just in the corner, and it's like I've boxed myself into a corner. I'm facing into the corner. All I've got to do is turn around and then I can walk out the room. But I can't get out the room if I just keep looking into the corner, okay? So I've got to change my perspective on something, change my direction. When I say that, next thing I see is like a shower coming down, the water's coming down, dripping over me, and it's about cleaning up my act, basically. I'm getting clean, and I can get out of this tiny room. When I get out, I'm walking, and then there's all these steps I've got to walk up, and so action steps need to be taken. If you do nothing, you'll get nothing, basically. So it's up to you. As I'm saying that, I'm getting in my right ear this warm energy coming through. It's like something's clearing and I can hear better, okay? Perhaps there's some sort of issue with your hearing. You might get your hearing. If you've been thinking about that, go and get it checked. Also here in the what's called TMJ, temporomandibular joint, there's something freeing up and I can feel this heat coming down the side of my face. So yeah, look up massage therapy, TMJ, and somebody can help you release your jaw. Maybe you've been grinding your teeth, or it's called bruxism, and you can actually have a mouth guard made up for when you sleep, so to stop yourself doing that, okay? Because that is affecting this joint here, and that's affecting the whole of the head. It goes down the spine, your back, your legs. A lot can be affected from this, just from this joint here in the jaw. Okay, so don't be so hard on yourself, they're saying also. Now I'm seeing chains, they're like silver chains, and I just see them falling off. Okay, maybe that's the lesson for this month, is don't be so hard on yourself this month and forever. Okay, so that's it, Aquarius. I hope this is helpful for you. Thanks for listening, and I just want to give you many blessings for February. If you're new, please consider joining the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Have a wonderful month, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.